One thing about living around here, you stay here and one day you can see all 4 seasons in one day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm an old hippie of the 60s. I'm a pacifist. I believe in being self-sufficient and do for yourself. That's why I have a farm, because I like to be able to have my things that I need at my farm to be self-sufficient. I don't leave the farm very often because I have everything I need here. Come on, kids. Come on, kids. Follow the bucket. Let's go. Come on, kids. Well, when I first came from the Indian Reservation back in 1968, I came here with a mule named Jesse Jackson, and I liked this farm when I went past it, and I boarded my mule here back in 1968. And I told Mrs. Schweitzer back in 1968, one of these days I was going to buy the farm. And 20 years ago is when they put it up for sale. So it took me a long time. I was 18 at the time, and it took me until I was 40 years old before the farm went up for sale. I'm the caretaker of my animals. I've always loved animals ever since I was a little kid. And I've always wanted animals. I've always wanted a whole lot of animals, and that's what I have. And I live to take care of my animals. That's my existence here, to be a caretaker for my animals, to live on my farm, enjoy my motorcycle, and just enjoy life. This barn has been here since 1959. This barn has been. We've had a lot of animals come and go. I had a horse here he passed away at the age of 52, my Appaloosa. But I used to do that in my whole Indian regalia. Him and I went everywhere in parades and shows and stuff. I plan to be here till I'm 117. So I still have about 57 more years to go. And then I'm hoping maybe a great-great-grandkid will want to be a farmer and take over the farm and keep a family farm going. I'm an artist. I went to Art Institute of Chicago. And so when I'm out riding, I may pull over my motorcycle and sketch a picture of a barn. Then when I come home, I will draw it and paint it and hang it in my house because I like barns. If I go to resale stores or junk places, I collect barn pictures. I just like barns. I like it out here at the farm. Always been a farm kid. I guess I'll always stay a farm kid. No matter how old I get, I'm going to be a farm kid. I told my father that one day I was going to have myself a farm that had the fruit trees and animals, and I was going to live by the creek, and I was going to have my own commune. And you're looking at it. This is my commune. This farm is what I strived for back in them days. I'm a papered American Indian. Blonde hair, blue eyes and all. I am a legal American Indian from the reservation. Yeah. I've had a lot of fun for the last 20 years around this farm. Natasha.
Natasha.
Yeah, she was the condo pig of Chicago. Got kicked out of the condo. So when she came out to the barn, she wasn't a very happy pig because she never grew up in a barn. She had ripped off the bottom of the door, tore it apart, so she had a way to get in and out and go terrorize anybody and everything she wanted to. And she did too. She thought you wore leather shoes. She'd be chasing you down the aisle of the barn. Sometimes somebody would come to the barn I don't want in the barn. I'd say, Natasha, take them out. She'd be running down the aisle going, and she'd be chasing them out. People would be running, screaming out of the barn. Everybody used to laugh about that. It was so funny. Now everybody learned to carry pig treats in their pocket. Because if she started coming at you, you throw them pig treats real quick. She goes for the pig treat and leave you alone. So I had wolves for 20 years here. So yeah, she muckaluk from his head down, stood about this tall. He was all black, but except for the tips of his toes were white.
That's crazy.
And in Indian, she muckaluk means black with fur boots. And the last 2, I had them fixed because they were brother and sister, and it wasn't good to breed brother and sister. You'd come up with too many deformities. So I had them fixed, and at the time they died, they weighed close to, I want to say 300 pounds apiece. So I found pictures of my black Siberian Husky laying on the sofa in the house with Muckaluk, which is Muckaluk.
Yeah.
We called him Muckapuppy. And he was laying with her, and he was a little tiny puppy. And at the time he passed away, he was 3 times her size. So it was pretty strange to see that. I was looking at a bunch of pictures the other day. Every one of the birds has a name. They're all pets. It's a no-kill farm. Nobody dies here, unless it's of old age. Most of the birds here were born here, or hatched, or whatever everybody want to say, hatched or born. And I've just raised them, and they go to petting zoos, and I take them to nursery schools. I have wild birds that flew in here, wild mallards and Canadian geese that decided, hey, this is where the food is, and they don't ever go. They stay here all year round. So they walk right into the barn with the rest of the birds. Well, this is Hank, this is Ralph, and this is George. They're buddies. These 3 guys hang around together all the time. Hank, Ralph, and George. And they all like to go up by the house and eat the cat food all the time when my husband put cat food out.
On one level, life seems to me to be like a game, to where you want to interact within life to try and get as much value points out of each activity as possible. But now I'm in my 50s, and I'm looking at what is the legacy I want to leave, and that puts me right back into, can I do something with this farm? So we put up the buildings here. Can I contribute to these supporting these animals? That's a good thing. I had a dream before we bought this place, 2 dreams actually. One is I was like 85 years old, could barely see, I was being led around by a little girl that was about 5 years old. And she's saying, Grandpa or great-grandpa, it's okay, you did okay, everything's fine. And I was like a confused adult kind of state. So I had this feeling that as hard as I want to work here, I'm not going to achieve what I'm trying to accomplish, but to an outside observer, it'll be okay. The other dream is I'm climbing the staircase, and it's like 12 floors up, and I've got to get to the top floor. And I finally get to the top floor because I've got this urgent task that has to be done. I get to the top floor, and I'm so exhausted, I fall down on my face, and I can barely breathe. And the task is unfinished because I didn't have the energy to both to climb to the top floor and do the task. And that's a little bit of what it is here. All the work you can do is not enough. You've got to learn how to back off and sit back and enjoy life. In order to achieve my goals, it's long seemed to me that, and there's really 2 philosophies here. One is to get involved with the local society, get involved in the civic groups, become a kiss up to the politicians, make your activities match theirs so that you're in the in crowd, you get the tax breaks, and you get the appropriate responses, encouragement, and all that, and participate in society. My attitude has always been, strive to be a little bit anonymous. Anonymity allows me to do things that people in the average life would never attempt. As long as no one knows about it, no one really complains about it. When we first moved here, we didn't have money to buy food. If we had a deer hit on the road, I'd go out there and grab it and bring it in, skin it, gut it, freeze it. And we'd have food for us and food for the dogs for months. I really think that if I was on the outside looking back at my life, if I was gone, I'd say all these things are major things. I enjoy gardening more than just about anything else because I'm actually producing something out of nothing, effectively. I mean, you have to go to major efforts to have a place to have a garden and to prepare the soil and all the rest. But to plant something, and it's like the guy in Green Acres, to plant the seeds and see the little plants come shooting up out of the ground, it does give me a thrill.
We are also into ABATE, which started 27 years ago. ABATE originally stood for American Bikers Against Totalitarian Enactments. But then we found out that American bikers couldn't pronounce totalitarian enactments. So we figured everybody thinks that being motorcycle riders, you're Marlon Brando, going to town, tear it up. So we thought we should call it, still use the ABATE letters and call it American Bikers Against Totally Everything. So then we started talking to politicians and stuff about motorcycle rights in the state of Illinois and Wisconsin. And so now it is called a brotherhood aimed towards education.
We haven't ridden since Thanksgiving, I'd say. And this is unusual for us to go through a winter. I think last winter was the first time we went through a winter without riding. On a normal week in the summertime, I ride my bike to and from work, 50 miles each way,
day.
100 miles round trip. And if there's any activities, that's the goal is to use the motorcycle.
Yeah.
When you adopt an activity which actually uses effort, rather than just sitting in the car and turning on your radio and turning on your heater and all that, and being a passive participant, being a motorcyclist is an active participant. Even with she's on the back, she's watching one way and I'm watching the other. She's whispering in my ear, watch out for this, watch out for that. And I'm paying as much of attention to the road surface as I am to the traffic around me, because I got her with me. When you're actually out there piloting a bike, using your muscles to do it, you're actually getting involved with what you're doing. You're not just having the world go past you like on a TV screen. If I had the ability, I would be taking a canoe to work, or I'd be bicycling to work.
If it rains, we ride. If it snows, we ride. If it gets nice, we usually don't ride because we don't know where we are. This is my motorcycle here. I built the motorcycle that I ride, which I still have, and that I built back in 1976. And I still have her. Her name is Rhonda Davidson. She likes to party with the big boys. I am the queen of the raffles, and I go out and I get donations from different businesses that donate items that I set up, and all the money goes to charity to help for the food pantry and everything. We do the raffles. We have our band come. The band has donated their time, and come on in. This event started 27 years ago. They want to do something for their own community, for where they live at and stuff. And 27 years ago, there was little problems going on. A lot of people were laid off their jobs, and a lot of people tried to find food pantries to go to. So our motorcycle club decided that this would be a good thing for our motorcycle club to get into. This is what my job is I come in and I do the businesses. This year I have had 72 businesses that have donated for this benefit today. And this is the Venetian Village Town Hall.
When they're near here, they smile. When I talk to her, they laugh. Because she's a pleasant personality. She's the kind of person people gravitate towards. She's a focal point. Sort of holds the organization together. Personality skill.
Somebody that you really enjoy being with, that you enjoy, and I enjoy him a whole lot. I enjoy being with Spock. I enjoy every minute I'm with him. I like doing stuff with him. I like being with him. I like going with him. He's my hero. He's my hero. If I need anything happens, he's there. He's my hero. My knight in shining armor. Rides up on that motorcycle, and he's my knight in shining armor. And everybody says, don't you love him? I said, well, I think I enjoy him more than I love him, but I love him a whole lot. So that's my husband, Spock. So, I told you, when nerds talk about stuff, they got a big, long spiel. And if you look at him, if you ever watch nerds when they talk, their eyes do this. It's like they're going through memory banks or something and checking things out that they're going through. And you watch them when they talk. I loved watching him when he talked because he's not looking at you. He's looking through his memory banks. His eyes are going back and forth, looking through the memory banks to come up with stuff.
If love means I could not see existence without her, yeah. Yeah. Now you got to recognize that my nickname is Spock. The definition of that guy back in the 70s and early 80s was a guy with no emotional demonstration. So it's hard for me to comment on emotional involvement. Because the reason I was given that name is that I tend to track the same path that he did. I realized, here's this hardcore chick, and she says she's going to move up to Montana. I said to myself, man. In fact, I said it to her. I says, you're the kind of girl that I would marry in a minute. She says, why? I says, going out to Montana and homesteading is the kind of thing that I've always dreamed of. You've got the self-sufficiency attitude this idealism attitude, this I will not be stopped by the world attitude that I've always been attracted to, the ideology. So I guess if things had gone different, if I had just been an interlude while she was breaking off when her marriage was crashing, we might not have ended up together. But by going through all this pain and agony, we ended up in the same spot at the same time. Fate was throwing us together. And that's how we ended up, it started the whole process. And actually it's been like an avalanche. You know, a little bit starts and everything keeps rolling bigger and bigger from there on out. I've got a lot of friends who ride motorcycles. And what you do in that environment is you don't send out invitations, you know, with an RSVP and all that. What you do is you put out a flyer, like for a party. Saying, hey, we're having this event here, show up. And sure enough, we probably had 1,200 people show up for this wedding. We had a big band. I think she had Steppenwolf, something like that, some major band come in and play. And basically I spent all my time at my job in Motorola, and she spent almost a full 9 months getting this place organized and preparing for the wedding. It was one of the legendary weddings here. Paul says she actually has a tape of this. It was taped by one of the local cable TV networks out of Kenosha, and they gave her a tape. It's our expectation that we'll be forced off this property within the next 10 years. We should at least break even, possibly make 3 times our investment, as far as, which would actually come out to be even as far as our loan cost. So we could walk away with enough money to move to a different location, set up a better place for half our initial price here, and have enough money in the bank to live the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We used our combined income to justify the loan to buy the farm. And then we got married about 2 years after being here. The problem you got is that this farm is rapidly being overtaken by subdivisions. What's stopping them from the south is the state line. But as they bring the utilities in from the north, the pressure on this place to be sold off in either sections or as a whole to support subdivisions is going to increase. The taxes increase, our ability to support this place will diminish. Although I'm on a good track with my job, if it keeps increasing in pay, I just might be able to keep this place going until I have 85 years old. But that brings us right back into that second dream, where I'm climbing the stairs and can't breathe when I get to the top. You know, I spend my whole life trying to preserve the farm and then die.
Do you think that would be an insufficient existence? In that sense of...
Well, recognize our preface to that statement of quality of life by saying that I look at the accomplishments. Well, I don't say it in those many words, but that's what I'm trying to say. Look at my accomplishments and try and ask myself, if someone looked at my life and saw these accomplishments, would they consider them to be significant? And yeah, I think I'd rather be known for what I accomplished rather than for some guy who sits around in a bar drinking beer.
Absolutely.